So when I left Sarepta, was contemplating what's the best way to take my 25 years of biopharma experience and apply that in the best way. And increasingly, I felt that taking a CEO role for a single company or single technology that was early stage wasn't as attractive as finding a way to get involved in a multiple number of companies. And I was getting a lot of calls from scientific founders or non-scientific entrepreneurs. In some cases, actually, families who had a rare disease and were looking for opportunities to create a company around. But ultimately, all of these people had one thing in common, which is they understood that they lacked the industry experience. And they were looking for somebody who had deeper operational biopharma experience and understood drug development, who could help them kind of navigate the way to get funding, to make sure they're making the right decisions around their technology. They usually understood the science, they usually understood their technology, but they didn't have the experience of, okay, what do we do now, and what's the next step? And so as I was getting more and more of these calls, and this was without putting out a signal, just from my network of people having been at Gilead and Celgene and been a public company CEO, and I was always one who was willing to give free advice. And so people would refer these individuals to me to see if I could help in any way. And most of the time they just wanted to potentially have me take a board seat or help them walk into a VC and help them get secure funding. And I started to realize that there was an opportunity that the market was not tapping into, and that it's what I describe as the middle market. If you go to your traditional or higher profile VCs who have been very successful and have raised very large funds, if they have a $500 million fund, they're more likely to look for $10, $50 million investments instead of $100, $5 million investments. And so when you think about how early stage biotech technologies are financed, especially if we're talking about a single product, right, to bring it through IND enabling work into the clinic, into a clinical proof of concept study, they don't need 50 million. Now, with early technology platforms like CRISPR and that, where you need a lot of investment up front, there's a place for those very large, Series A rounds. But if you need 10 million to get into the clinic through a phase 1 study, there aren't that many that are willing to invest that, middle level of exposure. And I call it middle level because most companies can cobble together anywhere from $500,000 to a couple million from friends and family, from angel investors, angel networks that exist. But if you want to raise more than 5 million, it's really tough. And if you want to raise less than 15 million, it's also tough. So that's where I felt that rather than build big infrastructures around these early stage companies, that I could develop a biotech operating team that could manage a portfolio of companies. Because you don't need a full-time chief medical officer and a full-time head of regulatory and a full-time quality and CMC and preclinical toxicology when you have a single product you're trying to bring through IND enabling work and into the clinic. So I thought that building that expertise from the operating standpoint and partnering with these early stage entrepreneurs and scientific founders was something that could really gain some traction. And it's not a wholly unique model. There are other aggregator accelerators, if you will. In the rare disease space, you have Sidon that's been around for several years. You have BridgeBio that has come on more recently but has focused on rare disease. You have late stage aggregators like Roivant, like Boston Pharma, funded by Gurnett Point Capital. You have PureTech that has a wholly owned subsidiary model, but aggregator approach to a single management team. I felt that really playing in early stage spaces, regardless of therapeutic category, generally regardless of technology, although we tend to prefer oral small molecule, antibodies, peptide therapeutics, those that are more easily characterized, where there's a little bit less platform risk, and we're not really interested in discovery, platform or discovery research. We want to have a lead product, ideally, that has been optimized or needs just a little bit more work to optimize.